They have a smaller leaf. The red mangrove leaf looks more like a rhododendron, a large green waxy leaf. And you see the little spikes sticking out of the water? Those are pneumatophores. And that allows the mangroves to freeze during high tide. This stuff is wild steak. They have little stakes, but they're not edible. Stop right over here for a few minutes. It's like a commercial charter or something. Now, if you look at the low bushes in the front, these are palmettos. And there's a type of palmetto called the saw palmetto, and they actually harvest the berries. They're supposed to be good for prostate health. And in the back are the Brazilian peppers, which again are an exotic plant. And around Christmas time they put out all kinds of red berries. People call them a Florida holly, but they're not a holly and they're not from Florida. They're from Brazil. And the birds eat the peppers, and shall we say wherever the birds leave a deposit, a new Brazilian pepper pops up. And there was a movement to remove all the exotic plants from this island. Two things happened. Number one, they ran out of money. And number two, the people that live on the other side didn't want the island stripped of vegetation. And those are the people that have money. So right now the project is on a standstill. But later on in the year, when the peppers start to ferment, the robins love them. So if you start to see a bunch of drunk robins flying around, you'll know that they've been hitting the Brazilian peppers. Now, I have a piece of property in Bonita Springs on the water, which if anybody's interested, I'll be glad to talk to you about. And I have a huge sea grape tree. And one Christmas I looked up and there was a large limb of Brazilian peppers growing right out of the center of my tree. So I emailed my wife, who sits about 15 feet away from me, and she said, "Google it, you fool." So I Googled it, and the recommendation was to cut off the limb, drill about 5 or 6 holes in the end of the limb, and then pour Roundup in the holes, which I did. And it actually killed the Brazilian pepper, but it didn't kill my sea grape tree. So I was kind of happy about that. Now, these islands were on charts in the 1900s, but when they dug the intercoastal waterway, which is where that boat is running, which runs all the way from New Jersey to Texas, they took the spoils and they piled it on these islands and made them much larger. Later on, we're going to go to those rookeries, see where the rocks are, and they recently put down several $1 million worth of rocks to protect the nesting birds. And Katie's going to tell us about the various kind of birds that are on those islands.